Hello, my name is Anna. Welcome to another English lesson. Welcome to your listening course. Let's start with the vocabulary. Go out of work. So this means without work. So despair. So this is the feeling when you don't believe in the result that you need so much. Now, clock. So it's just a position. It can be in the office or in the bank or in some other places. So, and it's not a very high position. Then office is it's when people work, and different companies have their offices, and their offices then have can have different purposes according to the purposes of the companies. Now, scanty. So just like not too large, just a very little amount. No, a salary. That's what you get when you have a job. That's how you are paid. Usually, it's your salary. Now, probably it's when you're not sure, but you're trying to guess or to suppose something. Period. So it means just this time, so period of time. So there's a starting point, there's the finishing point, and so there is time between these 2 points, and so this is the period of time. Then unemployment. So it means when people are out of work. So this period of time is the period of time when people are out of work is called unemployment. Then none. So it means just nothing, no one, and just like no variance possible for this. Now, to find oneself. It's just like to appear somewhere. So you're in one situation, and then you suddenly be in a different situation. So you found yourself in this different situation. Now, plight. So this is a very difficult situation. Then practice. It's when you work according to your specialization, so your specialty. Now achieve them. It's mainly the latter. It's when you say something and there's a number of things that you enumerate. And so something comes last, and then you continue speaking and you speak about this last thing. And so you call this last thing the latter. For example, Molly went to the shop and she bought some apples, some tangerines, some cucumbers, some tomatoes, and some grapefruits. And the latter were the tastiest. So you see how this word is used. Then earn. It means to do the job and make money. Next to nothing. So this is very little, really very little. Then learn. This is the process of changing from not knowing to knowing something. Then decision. This is when you set your goal. And when you make up your mind how to act, you make a decision, you decide. Now, favor. This is help. Now, mechanic. So this is the profession. These people can fix cars. They can fix certain mechanisms. So they work basically with this. And so this profession is called mechanic. Then pretend. So pretend is to act in a way that does not correspond to the truth, to reality. For example, a very simple and very silly example, but and this you can understand. So Jimmy is a boy, but he put on a wig and pretended to be a girl. So Jimmy is not a girl, but he put on a wig and pretended to be a girl. So he's not a girl, but he acted like this. He pretended. He contradicted reality. Now pack. So pack, it's usually, this word is usually connected with traveling. So this is when when you are to go somewhere, you take something with you, and so you have your suitcases and you put all these things that you want to take with you, and you put all these things into your suitcases, and you think about it all, you plan it all, you consider it all, and you do all these things. And so this process, it means packing. So you pack things, you prepare for trip, you pack things, you pack your suitcases. Then startle. So it means that something unexpected happens and you just make a little movement, a little quick movement with your body because of this sound, or because of some unexpected thought. So just let me show you. So you sit straight and you think about something, or some noise comes unexpectedly and you like this. So now I startle. So that's like that. So it's just like jumping up, but without jumping up, jumping up. But sometimes it happens that people even jump up. So they startle so strongly that they jump up. But so you understand that it works like this. And let's proceed. So the next word is frantically. So it's just very expressively. Now job. So it's what you do. It's what you do for your living. Just this activity, this process. Now willing is it's when someone wants to do something. They are willing to do something. Be willing. That's how we speak about it. Then never mind. So this means that we shouldn't pay any attention to something. Something happens, but we just immediately forget about it because it's unimportant, and we don't really need to consider this. So like, never mind, forget about it. So like this. Then science. So these are things like physics, for example, or like chemistry. So this is science. So this is a discipline that deals with all these phenomena, this phenomena that is connected with physics or with chemistry. Then scientific. So connected with science. Then expedition. So expedition, it means that a group of people works together. They usually travel to some place and they explore something. They do some works, some analytical works, some practical work, and so they usually have some goal, have some plan, and they really have some results because of this activity, but they work all together and they have the certain route of their trip. So this is the expedition. Now cross. It's when you move across something. For example, you can cross the river from one side to the other, or you can cross the road at the crossroad, or you can cross the country even on a plane, for example, or just in some transport. So across country or across the world, and this is already in a deeper sense. Now, machine. So this is a certain mechanism, board. So this is a board of a ship, board of a ship. So ship is a wheel that goes in the ocean or in sea, and so when you come on the ship, you come on board. So that's how it goes. On board. And then liner. So this can be either steam or it can be the plane, the airplane. And sail. This is about any ship, about any boat, when this transport goes in the ocean and the sea, in the river and lake, it sails. You say that it sails. And so these are the words for the vocabulary of today's lesson. And now we can continue. And the title is The Carriage Runs Away to Africa. You see, remember that boy in the beginning of the story? And who do you see now in front of you? Have to think of something, haven't you? Let's do this. Mr. Dale had been out of work for about 6 months, and the family was in despair. Sam Kirsten left his studies too and went to work as a clerk in one of Mr. Tran's offices, as Mr. Kirsten could not keep his 2 children on his scanty salary. You have probably read some books or other that in England, as well as in many other capitalist countries, there are periods of unemployment when thousands of people go hungry, looking for work and finding none. In such hard times, Dr. Kirsten also found himself in a bad plight, as his practice was chiefly among the working people. The latter being out of work, he earned next to nothing. At last, Mr. Dale gave up all hope of finding work in his own country and decided to look for work in America. Jimmy was to go with him. When Lily learned about this decision, she was terribly upset. "Father," she said one evening to Mr. Kirsten, "why don't you go to Mr. Trent and ask him to give Jimmy's father some kind of work? Mr. Trent will do it for you. Really, father, you must go to him." "Well, child, you know Mr. Trent is away, and nobody knows when he will be back. Besides, I can't go there. I have asked Mr. Trent for one favor already. He was good enough to take our Sam. Maybe he'll take Mr. Dale as well. Jimmy's father is the best mechanic in the neighborhood," Lily said. "Maybe, but you see, it's not nice to bother the man a second time. I was there once, and I think, all right, father, I see what you mean. Don't go there if you don't like to," the girl answered, and picking up her book, pretended to read. 3 days passed. One evening, when Mrs. Dale was packing Mr. Dale's things, the door opened and Lily rushed in. "What's up, child?" Mrs. Dale cried, startled by the noise. "You frightened me." "Where's Mr. Dale? Where's Mr. Dale?" the girl shouted, waving her hands frantically. "Where is he? Here's a note for him from Mr. Trent. He says he's got a job for him if Mr. Dale is willing to go to Africa." "What has Mr. Dale to do with Africa? When did you see Mr. Trent? How does it happen that he knows my husband?" Mrs. Dale asked in surprise. "Never mind how," Lily cried excitedly. "Here's a letter for him, and Mr. Trent is waiting for him at his office. He's come here quite unexpectedly, and he's waiting for Mr. Dale." "Oh my," Mr. Dale sighed. "Tom is out. Why must he go to Africa? And Mr. Trent is waiting for Tom, is he?" "Yes, yes, he is. He told me himself. As soon as he comes, tell him to run to Mr. Trent's office as quickly as possible. I'm so glad Mr. Dale will have work now," Lily chatted excitedly. Before a week had passed, the whole neighborhood knew that Mr. Dale was going to Africa as a mechanic with a big scientific expedition. The expedition The expedition would have to cross to America with all its machines on board a big liner, and from there start for Africa. The expedition would sail to Algeria, and from there it would cross the African continent to Madagascar. Now, what can you say now about the adults? and about the kids. What can I say now? What can I say about them now? Let me know in the comments down below. And I'll see you in the next lesson.